Welcome to the Keep the Faith podcast. I am your host, Tori. And of course, I got my sister with me today, Miss Vicky Peterkin. And before we get started, of course, May is Mental Health Awareness. Before we get started, I want to do two little shout outs, birthday announcements. Miss Nikki Spears celebrated her 50th birthday on yesterday. And my cousin, Mrs. Ivory Mitchell, is celebrating a birthday on today. So happy birthday to them both. And of course, like I said, I got my sister Vicky on the podcast today. We're going to be talking about mental health. May is mental health awareness, of course. And before we get started with the topic, Vicky, you've been on this podcast before, but just those that don't know, tell us just a little bit about yourself. And y'all, she has, mental health awareness. The color is green, and she all got the representing with the green and all. I love it. I love it. Tell us a little bit about yourself before we start talking about the topic.
Okay. Hello, sister. Thank you for inviting me on this podcast, Tori. This is my second podcast. But my name is Vicky Peterkin. I am from Florence. I am a mom. I have 3 beautiful children. I'm a GG. I have grandbabies. And I have been a therapist and a counselor for 20 years now. I love what I do. I believe that it is my calling. And thank you again for having me on this podcast, Tori, so we can talk about such an important topic that needs more dialogue and discussion. Thank you.
Absolutely. Now, why is mental health, why is it so important to you? What makes it so relatable to you, and what makes it so important to you?
Why is it so important to me? Personally, I think me being able to take care of myself and growing and evolving as a person, as a woman, processing my pain, my trauma, my life experiences, being authentic, real. I think that helps me to show up better and be able to assist my patients and the people that I work with. This is an extremely important topic. I think the pandemic heightened it as far as the awareness of how important mental health is. But I think it is definitely something that we need to continue to have conversations about, educate ourselves about, learn about, recognize, and continue to show compassion to people who are dealing with things in the mental capacity. But it is dear to my heart. And like I said, I believe that I am definitely in my calling and what I need to be doing for my career.
Okay. Now, when you say show up for yourself, you got to take care of yourself. Why is that so important? Because a lot of times, because I know I am guilty of this. When I don't always like to talk things out. Sometimes I hold things inside, and a lot of times people say it's okay to not be okay. What exactly does that statement itself, what exactly does that mean to you when you hear people say that it's okay not to be okay? And what are your thoughts on in regards to people like me that a lot of times shy away from talking about things that may be troubling me, and I hold it inside, and it has been affecting my health this past week. So like the question is, what do you feel? What are your thoughts when you hear people say it's okay not to be okay? And what do you say to people like me that don't like talking about things that may be bothering us? And of course, we have triggers as well, but we just shut down and make the decision not to talk about it.
Okay. And you're asking some very thought-provoking questions, and I love that. I have heard I'm not okay, and And I have said what you have said in session. It is okay not to be okay. We are human beings. We have feelings, we have emotions, we have stresses, we have traumas, and sometimes it is hard, it is painful, and you're not okay. And you're not okay. You don't know what to do, you don't know um, how to handle it, and it does show up in your body. So that is one thing, like I would tell people to be able to kind of understand and recognize when it's too much for you, like when your moods are maybe irritable, um, your sleep is out of whack, appetite, and all of those things. But it's still okay to have those kinds of things going on. And like you're saying, sometimes, you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to, reach out for help. And everybody has their own process with handling things and with dealing with things. But I would, share that help is always available, and you have to start with where people are. Sometimes people just aren't ready to um, accept help or even know how to do that. But even if you can't talk about it, if you can journal, like writing things out, or try to exercise or do things that you enjoy doing, as a way to draw, if you don't want to verbalize things. But I do encourage at some point um, vocalizing it, saying things, because that is a release, a way to get it out. Even if you just write it out and then read it out loud and then burn it, whatever you want to do with it. But I think at some point in time, it is important to be able to verbalize those feelings, work through that uncomfortable pain, because that's really where your healing is, where your breakthrough is, and just learning how to handle uncomfortable stuff.
And I'm glad you said that about the journaling, because that's something that I do a lot.
Mhm.
I just, if I don't feel like talking at all, I'll just write. I'll talk to God and
Yep,
I'll
absolutely.
listen to worship music. But there's
Mhm.
sometimes, like, sometimes it can be so overwhelming. Like,
Mhm.
like this morning, yesterday, it was to the point where literally, and I'm just being transparent. This is live.
Absolutely.
This is nothing
Absolutely.
rehearsed or
Mhm.
anything, but I'm just being very transparent. Past couple of days, I have been having migraines.
Mm.
This morning, yesterday, I was having chest pains. So that's why I know
Those are your
I got,
clues. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
I got to release some things,
Mhm.
because a lot of times we hold on to things, and we don't talk about things. And especially we could tell ourselves all day long, you know, why worry about something
Mhm.
that's beyond your control? But at
Mhm.
the same time, you still worry. I am a serial overthinker. Like,
Mm.
we haven't even made it to June, and
Yeah.
I'm already in September.
Mm.
And I'm like, Tori, you're missing the moment. You're not
Yeah.
living in the moment, because you're already thinking about September. You're already thinking about your son's school year, because
Mhm.
like we're talking before we went live, we both have
Yeah, we're talking
seniors now.
rising
And
senior.
I'm
Yes.
already so I'm already thinking about how, what's that. I'm just thinking way ahead of myself. So people like me, that, and a lot of times we say, well, I'm okay, I'm all right. And I'm one of those people that I am so good at encouraging somebody else.
But how do you
And
do it for
sometimes,
yourself? How
what?
do you do it for you? And what you talked about, sometimes we are so thinking about, like you're saying, we're already in September, that we're missing the now. We're missing the here and now, the present moment, and just learning how to enjoy those things. That is actually, a strategy that I would, suggest. Just focus on moment by moment, second by second. Try to reset. Try to I always say, take a breath, take a breath.
Mhm.
Try to think of something, be grateful, change your mindset, the way you think about things, because lots of times we do miss the whole experience of right now and thinking about maybe things in the future or things in the past. And so that's what I would encourage you to do right now, Tori. But I appreciate you sharing and saying as far as what's going on right now. But Lord knows I've dealt with pain too, and I have been able to recognize my two big clues when my sleep is out of whack, when my sleep is interrupted, I'm not resting well, and my appetite decrease. That's when I need to make some changes in my life. Those are my two main stressors. If those two kind of go left, I'm like, whatever's going on, I've got to make some changes. I've got to make some changes.
And one of the things I tell you all the time, like, we have been knowing each other for over 20 years, and we
Mm-hmm.
lost touch, but we actually reconnected when the pandemic hit. We reconnected,
2020.
and
Mm-hmm. It was
yeah,
just like
and
that.
I'm just like, and one thing I can say about you, as long as I've been knowing you, it's like you never go through things because you're always smiling, you're always positive, you're always laughing. So I'm like, Vicky, do you ever go through stuff? Because you always smiling. Like you would
Mm-hmm.
never know that you're going through something.
But I have also learned how to, whew, like I said, take a breath, call on Jesus, know my capacity as far as when I am able to pour into others. But sometimes I just have to reset and be alone by myself in order for me to even do that, to be honest. Just kind of take care of me, take care of me. But I'm learning it takes effort, it takes looking at yourself, knowing your flaws, a lot of self-awareness, I would say. But not perfect, but I am learning.
And something else you said that I noticed for myself, like you said, your appetite decreases,
It
mine
does.
increases, and I eat really, really, really crazy. Like, and it's like I can be full, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm still eating. I eat to the point where I get miserable. And I'm like, why am I still eating? I'm not hungry. Or why am I still drinking something? I'm not thirsty. But that's one of the things, I could be triggered by something and
Mm-hmm.
it'll cause me to eat. Like, I know that chocolate is a trigger for me as far as migraines. But
Right.
if I'm stressing about something or I'm thinking about something, then I eat, and I'm trying to get a grip of that. But this past week has been crazy, and I'm trying to remind myself, you have to live in the moment. And I'm
Right.
trying to tell myself, like, Tori, is we're approaching June, but we're not even there yet. And I'm already, like I said, I'm in September. I'm thinking about October. I'm thinking about so many things. And I'm like, Lord have mercy, help me. And I was
Right.
like, because it's been a while. I've seen a therapist before,
Mm-hmm.
but it may be time for me to see, because I keep telling myself I'm okay.
Re-engage, because sometimes as a therapist, out like because people just meeting people in different stages as far as different journeys. Like I've been in therapy for a long time, and then sometimes I meet people and they have never talked to a therapist ever in their whole life. So I try to explain it as far as therapy. One therapist might plant the seed, the other one might water it, the next one might see it grow, the other one might see it blossom, and sometimes you can see all the stages as a therapist, and that's a beautiful thing to be able to experience. But I think I have talked with a therapist, being very transparent and open, and I know that has made me a better therapist, being able to speak with someone. And I think even when things are going good, I think people should just talk with someone. It's not just when stuff is getting rough or hard, because that's usually when um, people come in for help, but even when it's going good, just having someone to talk to, I think that's important as well. And then to kind of piggyback on what you said, a lot of people are emotional eaters, like you're saying. That's a that's how they cope with things, because food is very, very comforting. But just learning how to, have, moderation with that. Yeah.
And being a therapist, how difficult is it for you guys? Like when you talk to your clients, how difficult is it? Like you say you have a session
Mm-hmm.
and that what that person is carrying is heavy. How do
Mm-hmm.
you not take that with you? That's why I know I couldn't be a therapist, because I don't know how to, like, if someone talks to me about something, I don't always know how to release their stuff. I'm
Mm-hmm.
carrying, not only carrying my stuff, but I'm also carrying their stuff. So how difficult is it as a therapist when you are, you're talking to clients, but you have to leave it there, that you don't, dwell on it, or you don't take it home? Is that difficult for you, or is that something that comes to you very fairly easy?
I think I have gotten better with it over time, with learning how not to carry things. Um, I have had moments I would be in my office just bawling when I, like one of my clients. This is just saying, I got the news that one of my clients passed away. I just had them. I mean, I lost it. I lost it in my office. Um, and then sometimes, depending on what the client is sharing with me, I mean, I'm human. I mean, I just have a moment and tears are literally coming. I'm like, excuse me. I mean, I'm a human being. So for someone to be able to share things with me, and just have like a poker face and just not be affected, that's kind of hard for me because that's not my personality. um, I'm very loving, I'm very affectionate, I'm very caring. And so I think I've gotten better as far as not trying to carry uh, people's stuff, but I have, like, in the moment, like I said, I'm not gonna sit up there and not be. I ain't gonna be fake, so to speak. I mean, I have cried with people, I've hugged people, prayed. I mean, that's who I am.
And one of the other questions I wanted to ask, being a therapist, have you ever had have you ever had to actually diagnose someone? Because I heard that you have to be diagnosed to be the term that I hear a lot, and been hearing a lot over the past couple years,
Okay.
is narcissist and narcissism.
Hmm. That is
What?
a personality disorder with
Uh-huh.
specific characteristics, but it does fall in the realm of a personality disorder. But we do. I mean, that is what we. I do have to give a clinical impression or a clinical diagnosis after seeing a person for the first time, even if it's just what I think initially. Yeah, I do have to
Right.
diagnose the people, and then sometimes it's immediate. I could be like, okay, they have personality disorder off the first meeting, like something's going on with that personality. So, and then I'll, if need be, I'll refer them to the psychiatrist as far as meds if they, want some medication. But yeah, it's pretty evident sometimes the first time that you see someone if they have a personality disorder going on. Mm-hmm.
Right. And then a lot of times people are, of course, in denial in regards to this narcissism. With a lot of people, because I've actually lost people because of that disorder. And even though I'm not a therapist, there's just some
Mm-hmm.
characteristics you recognize. You
Mm-hmm.
recognize some things. And of course, as from my research, the narcissist, of course, they're not going to think they're a narcissist, but they're going
No.
to take the blame off of themselves and put the blame on someone else. And
Mhm.
when I tell you that spirit, oh my goodness. Oh, that spirit is so heavy. Oh my goodness. And Cynthia has a question. She says, can a narcissist be reformed, healed, or learn to live normally with this disorder?
Cynthia, my sister, that is a fantastic question. My personal opinion with it, I think that they can, but they would have to be willing to do the work. And I think that's something only God can do, to be honest, to help them. Honestly. Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. A lot of this is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
They gotta want to be reformed.
One, recognize it, like to admit, like, well, maybe I might be a narcissist first. Even admitting it, coming to that level of self-awareness and being able to say that, that's the first step, identifying the issue, identifying that, and then seeing how this pattern of behavior is negatively impacting your relationships and yourself, and maybe wanting to make some changes like you're saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. But a lot of times they're not going to admit it.
Mm-mm.
They're definitely not going to admit they're a narcissist.
Because it
Okay.
blame everybody else, and thinking it's everybody else's fault, just they the victim. um yeah, they really lack empathy. They're only really thinking about themselves. Yeah, but it's something. It's difficult.
And Cynthia says, I
Yeah,
agree, God first, then the personal desire. But that's
absolutely.
the thing. A lot of times, most are not going to even recognize it.
Right.
Or
Even
if they
or
do
admit it.
recognize it, they're going
They
to
don't
be in
want to
denial
change it.
about it.
Yeah. Or deny or don't want to make no changes.
Oh my goodness, Lord. And it seems like because I'm an empath and I'm a very
Mm-hmm.
empathetic person, it
Right.
seems like I uh attract a lot of narcissists or people with those characteristics behavior. I'm like, but I've been reading where sometimes they are attracted to people. They're attracted to empath because they feel like the healing. And of course, empath a lot of times, that's why I have to be careful with people that I'm around,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel different. I can feel the spirit. I
Their
can't be
energy.
around. Yeah, I feel it, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is not this is not good. I have to leave. And then if I'm invited someplace, I feel uncomfortable. I have to leave. And then there's
Right.
some invitations I have to straight off the rip. Don't even go to begin with. But what are some of the other things that you recognize when it comes to mental health? How do you recognize it, whether it be with family, friends, and in some cases, even children? Because
Mm-hmm.
you have to realize that children go through things as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, let's see. Like I was saying, uh, moods, irritable moods, or worrying, or feeling sad, being tired, not being able to focus, um, going to the bathroom a lot. Like a lot of times with children, they have like a lot of somatic issues, headaches, stomach aches. Um, what else? It's lots of different things. Sleep pattern, like I said, eating. Sometimes thinking about taking your life. That's a thing as well. There's lots of different things. Losing interest in things that once were very enjoyable for you. Isolating. Um, it's so many different. Sometimes overachieving. Sometimes you have high functioning people with anxiety or depression. So it can show up all kinds of ways, Tori, actually.
When
It
you
can
say isolation, oh my God, you stepping on my toes because oh God, isolation. Ooh. I used to live in isolation. I mean, it was to the point where I think, and I know that having my son
Mhm.
was my greatest blessing. Because, and the reason why I say that is, prior to having my son, I would go weeks at the time with my phone turned off. And back in the day when we was at the College of Charleston, I'll go
Mhm.
weeks without talking to people. And then back then we had like pagers. I would not answer my pager, and people didn't know how I was doing. I would stay in my room because when you were upperclassmen, when I was at the College of Charleston,
Right.
once I became an upperclassman, you know how you have those single rooms to yourself. And I
Absolutely.
remember being in my single room,
Mhm.
and I remember having the single room to myself. And I only shared the bathroom with my roommates. But
Right.
I remember being in my room, and I remember the phone ringing off the hook. I remember them knocking on my door, and I wouldn't answer the door. And then the way my room, the last room I was in, it had like a back door. So they did not
Wow.
know if I was in there. They didn't know if I was there. They didn't know if I was there or not, because I would ignore the calls. I would ignore them knocking on the door. And it got to the point, like, literally, I was like, you know what? I better open the door, because they go call public safety, and
Yeah,
they could break
well,
this.
check on you. Yeah, somebody's coming
But
in to check on
yeah, so,
you.
but I went through, when you said the suicidal thoughts, I went through that. The suicidal thoughts, like, you feel as if life is not going to get better. You feel like
Hopeless.
you feel underappreciated. You feel like nobody cares. You feel like you're unseen. You feel like you're unheard. I felt all of that. And I was like, if I disappear, nobody won't miss me. Nobody will know. They'll be like, you know. But I realized over the years that even though I didn't think that I was valuable, there are people, and it's all about having the right people in your space. Like,
Absolutely.
y'all have no idea. Like, our group text that we have, it makes a difference.
It does
That
every single
circle
day.
of women is such a blessing to me, because, like I said, there's sometimes you feel like I felt like I didn't matter. And even and to be honest, I had a couple of days. That's why like when we was doing the group text, there was a couple of days I didn't say anything, but I was having those moments where I felt like, even though people can tell you matter, they can tell you valuable, if you don't believe it for yourself, you still feel like you're unworthy. And so that's how I felt. And I was trying to figure out what triggered this, but I had a trigger over the past week, and I just found myself isolating a lot. And let me see what Cynthia says. She had a comment. She said, I follow a guy on Facebook and TikTok named Tyrone. He has a book called Red Flags, and he is a recovering narcissist and helps
Wow.
women to recognize the traits and how to disconnect from a narcissist. He has counseled me out. He counseled me in the past. That's awesome. And I think I know exactly who you're talking about. He's actually amazing. He's one of those, the very few men that,
Being real, honest.
yeah, yeah, that's honest, and say that he's reformed. I actually follow him as well. He's actually amazing. And, like, when it came to relationships, when I would go through those bouts of not feeling worthy, it was okay for the guy to be like, I was accepting a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. When I look back, I accepted so much. I'm like, why am I accepting this? And because I accepted a lot of things, because I didn't love me. I didn't appreciate me. I didn't value me. So I didn't feel like I was worthy of being treated like a queen.
Right.
Now I know better. But
Now
like I
you
said,
know. I
I
hope you
still
do.
have my moments, but I don't stay there. Back then,
Yeah.
I used to stay there. I used to wallow. And here again, transparent moment. When I was in college,
Yeah.
College Charleston, we had, like, where my dorm was, there was a ABC store.
Close by.
What? And it's like,
Yeah.
these people knew me by name. That's how much I went to that store, and they knew me by name. And that was actually a coping mechanism for me as well. When I was
Right.
going through things, when I failed the test, I go to that store
Yeah.
If someone hurt me, I go to that store. It's like, but once you sober up, the
Right.
problem is still there.
It's still
It is
there.
still there. So I
Mhm.
asked God, I said, God, please, please take the taste away from me. And thank God he did, because that was one of the things that that was my way of coping with anxiety, with
Mhm.
depression. And like I said, I don't always, there's some people that you can feel comfortable talking to, but then there's some people you will talk to them, but they'll use your pain against you.
They will.
So when you find people using your pain against you, then you close yourself off and you don't want to talk.
You do.
So I've
And
been,
I
oh my God,
appreciate you sharing that so much, Tori, like being honest and talking about, your thoughts when you had about taking your life and stuff like that. I mean, that's just being really transparent and open. And I want to mention NAMI, which is National Alliance of Mental Illness. For this mental health month, their theme is actually more than enough. And when I saw that, I was like, that's very powerful. But a lot of people struggle with feeling like they're enough. But I thought that was really, really impactful, because I want everybody to know that you woke up this morning, you're more than enough. And that, like you're saying, you had to find and realize your worth. Just because you're a human being, you are inherently worthy of life, love, and healing. I that is what I would want everyone to realize and understand, and know that just because
right,
you are human, you deserve those things, even when you don't think you do or feel like it in that moment. But that moment
right.
passes too. That moment passes too. Um, so I really appreciate you sharing all that, Tori.
And then we have to pay attention to, I notice that there are some people that I can tell when they're going through,
Mhm.
because they are, how do I say, they joke a lot.
Mm.
They mask their pain by being humorous.
Mhm.
They mask their pain by laughing a lot. But a lot of times I can feel it and I can see it. They may be
Right.
smiling or they may be laughing,
Mm-mm.
but it's like I literally feel they're going through. And I was like, I asked, there was a friend of mine that was just making me laugh.
Right.
And I was like, what is going on with you? And I was like,
Mhm.
how do you know? I
You
just
could
felt it.
tell you knew
I
her.
could
Hmm.
tell. Like, you
Hmm.
laughing and you joking, but you're going through something. And I'm like, I'm
Hmm.
here if you want to talk. So they actually called me later and
Hmm.
they actually was going through something. And it's like sometimes when I feel it and I recognize it, I don't always say something,
Right.
but because not everyone is going to receive it.
Hmm.
So I'm very careful with that as well. A lot of times, if you recognize something, not everybody is going to admit that they're going through something. But to be honest, we all go through something
Oh,
at some point in
absolutely.
life. But
Absolutely.
there's some people that just choose not to talk about it. They mask their pain with different things. And like I said,
Mhm.
I did it with, back then when I was younger, I did it with the alcohol.
Right.
Even with sex, I've done that before as well.
Mhm.
Just to be honest, I mean,
Yeah.
I've done some things to mask the pain, but I thank God that it's so much better now that I'm able
Mhm.
to. But like I said, I still have my moments.
We
I still
do.
have
We
things
do.
that trigger me. So
Mhm.
yeah, I just but like I said, I don't want to take up too much of your Sunday, but I just wanted whatever you want to share in regards to your experience when it comes to mental health. What are some of your final words? And I also want to mention that a friend of mine, she has a nonprofit organization called Forgiving Hearts, and she's actually having an event this coming Tuesday, which is called the Healing Space. And I'm gonna text her and tell her to put the link in the comments. So you guys, if you're able to come, it is going to be this Tuesday. I want to say it's from 6 to 8. And the address is 500 South Dargan Street, I think. Actually, she put the link in the comments. So I
Okay.
would love to see you guys if you're able to come. That's this coming Tuesday, from 6 until 8, and I'll see if she'll have time for us to either talk about that event. But what are some of your final thoughts or final words that you want to share in regards to mental health awareness? And then, of course, next month is focusing on men mental health, the month of June, and I'm actually going to see if I can contact a male counselor, because a lot of times men listen, men
Nay.
not gonna go to therapy. They're not gonna seek it there. Men, they're like,
They
nothing.
don't even go to the doctor.
What? So they're not going to go to a therapist.
Yes. But Tori, thank you again for having me on this podcast. I think, like I said, much needed, much continued conversation about reducing the stigma for mental health, and just we are more than our diagnosis, more than our ethnicity or our disability, socioeconomic status, pronouns, or whatever. There's help available. There is help available 24/7. It was implemented last year. If you're thinking about taking your life, there's thoughts for, there's help for that. It's 988. That is actually the number they implemented. There is always somebody available for help with things like this in regards to your mental health. It's important. We need to continue having conversations, showing compassion and caring about humans, period. But I really do appreciate you having me on today to kind of shed light and continue.
And let me ask you this question. What do you say to that person that may be watching? Because I put you on the spot. What do you say to that person that's watching, and they're saying to themselves, they may be going through something, but they're saying they're really not okay. But they're saying that they're okay, but they're really not okay. And they need help, but they refuse to seek help. Because I've been that person before. I mean, it gets to the point where it affects your health. So what advice would you give to that person that is going through a mental illness, whether it be depression, anxiety, because it's real. Yes, we pray, but we also, God give therapists the knowledge and wisdom to get us through situations. We pray, a lot of times we pray and think, oh, I'm gonna pray about this and it's gonna be all right. But it takes more. I love the Lord and I'm a believer. Absolutely. But it takes more than prayer sometimes.
It does. I would tell that person, reach out for help anyway, even if you don't feel like doing it. You can start with your doctor. Just go to your doctor. Start with your doctor. Or if you don't have one, get one. Still reach out for help, even if you don't feel like it. You're worth it. You deserve it. It's not a good feeling thinking you're alone or just by yourself when you're not. There's people who are readily able and want to assist you with whatever you're going through. So do it anyway. Right. You love yourself enough to do that.
Right. And here's the thing. A lot of times people think, well, I'm going to just talk to my friends about this situation or that situation. Sometimes you have to talk to someone that you don't know a lot of times that's not going to be biased, because your friends sometimes they're going to be like, it's not that serious. And then you're going to have some friends and family that's going to be harsh. And in some situations, it is unbearable, because I've had situations where I had people that, I may talk to them about something, and they're very harsh. Well, and so that's why I close off and I'll shut down. Well, I'm not gonna talk to them about anything, but just make sure, like Vicky says, make sure you guys, seek help and talk to someone, because a lot of times people that are going through things, some of the main people that are going through, we don't even recognize. Like, for example, with when I was matter of fact, Vicky, I don't even know if you remember this young lady, but we were at college of Charleston. This girl used to like joke with me all the time. And she actually had a nickname for me. And this girl, She was beautiful. I can't remember her name, Vicky, but she went to the College of Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
And she used to always, I'm getting emotional and choked up when I'm thinking about it. But she used to always tease me a lot.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the way she teased me, you would never know that she was depressed.
Oh, wow.
And this girl actually she drove off a cliff into the water,
Oh, God.
committed suicide.
Mm.
So people go through things,
Mm-hmm.
they mask it with laughter,
Mm-hmm.
they mask it with jokes,
Yep.
and you don't even know they're going through. Like she used to always tease me, like Tori. She's always, it was funny, and she's always there was a particular perfume that I used to wear. Matter of
Mm-hmm.
fact, you know how you wear the imitation of certain perfumes. There was a
Right.
perfume. I don't remember the real perfume, but the imitation of the perfume that I used to wear. It was called Little Sexy. So one day we was on the elevator, and she said, "Tori, what is that you have on?" I said, "I got on Little Sexy." She said, "Little Sexy," and y'all, every time she saw me,
She would call you
like,
that.
yeah, she was like, "What's up, Little Sexy?" And like I said, she was always smiling. She was always laughing. So when I found out that she committed suicide, it blew me away because she was one of the last people that I was expecting was going through something mentally. I never would have guessed that she was going through something like that. And Robin, the actor Robin Harris, was it Robin Harris? Was it Robin Harris? I think his name was Robin Harris. It could be Robin Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Robin Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect that because he always made us laugh.
Yeah.
He was an amazing actor.
Right.
I never would have thought that he was going through something that he would take his life. It was crazy. So make sure you guys check on your strong friends. Make sure just because somebody laughing, just because somebody's smiling, that doesn't mean they are right. I promise you it doesn't. It really doesn't. Pay attention. Not only do you pay attention to those that are joking, that are laughing, pay attention to those that are quiet as well. Cause I'm like that. Now there's sometimes when I'm quiet, people will pick up like, "Tori, you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." Knowing good well I'm not. Knowing good well I'm not. So just make sure you check on your friends. And we always say this, check on your strong friends because people really need you. And sometimes just check on people just to say how you doing. Are you okay? Yeah. It's so important. And like I said, Vicky, I'm so glad you're one of my circle of sisters. You guys, like y'all, and I talk about this all the time. We have a text community. It's what 9 of us, and these women connected because of my birthday last year. And these women are connected. We're connected for life. Like they did not know each other. I was the common denominator. And we have formulated a bond that is unbreakable. We encourage each other. We pray for each other. We get each other through things that, if we go through things, we get each other through. And then just think about, I think sometimes that, people go through things and they don't say anything. They don't say anything about what they're going through, but there may be a word of encouragement that someone can say in that group that help us along the way. You just
them blessings and them prayers. Oh my God, that gets you through.
It does.
Those are powerful.
Oh my God, it makes a difference. So be mindful. I tell people to be mindful of people that you surround yourself with. Make sure you surround yourself with positive people. Because if you're negative, Tori knows how to exit herself.
Vicky too. I know how to do that.
Listen, and like I say all the time, Vicky is one of those people that she's always positive. That's why I'm like, Vicky, did you ever go through anything? Because she's always smiling. You'll never know. You'll never know. But Vicky, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. Because we definitely
I was like, I will do it.
And then you had been doing it for 20 plus years. That is amazing. It's definitely your calling. It's definitely your calling.
It is. Mm-hmm. It is.
And so if anyone that's watching, if they wanted to reach out to you, do you have a email or anything? If anybody's like, well, I'm gonna talk to Vicky, because you're one of those people that people are drawn to because you're so easy in understanding. You're a great listener. And then one thing I love about you as well, you're not judgmental. You're
And my
always so
patients will
loving
tell
and
me that a lot. They tell me that.
yeah.
They say you're not judging and caring. That seems to shine through.
Yes, it
That
is. You
really
you
does.
are, and it's so genuine,
Yeah.
and that means a lot. It really and truly matters. So if anyone watching want to reach out to you, do you have an email or anything you want to share for people to reach out to you?
I will share my email, not my work.
Okay,
I will share my personal email. Can I
okay,
put that
that's
in the
fine.
chat? Can I put it in the chat? Or
Yeah, you sure can. Yeah, put it in the chat. So if you guys want to reach out to Vicky, just she's gonna insert her personal email. Just reach out to her. And if you're going through something and it feels like it's unbearable, please, please make sure you seek help. And Kay Jeanette just popped on. She said, "Hey, ladies, what's up, Kim?" That's our other sister, Kim. Hey, Kim. Thank you
hey.
so much for joining, sister. But like I was saying, if you are going through something, because like a lot of times people deal with grief,
Mm-hmm.
and there's so many stages of grief. So if you're going through something, make sure you seek the help that you need. Make sure you call someone. Make sure you talk to someone. And like that saying says, it's okay not to be okay. And
It
in
is.
some cases, sometimes you have to take medication, and don't feel bad about it. If you have to take medication, don't feel bad about it. And here's another transparent moment. When I was in college and I was going through depression, because of course we had the infirmaries on campus. When I was going through my depression back in college, they put
Mm-hmm.
me on something called Zoloft. I don't know if that's something that they still use, but they put me on
They
something
do.
called
It's an antidepressant. Mm-hmm. They
yeah.
still
They
use
put me
that a
on
lot. It's still prescribed a lot. Mm-hmm.
yeah. They put me on
Mm-hmm.
Zoloft back in the day, and I'm like, am I crazy? They put me on medication.
It can
I
help
was
though. It can help to manage symptoms of depression. Mm-hmm. It can.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Lord, but yeah, they had me on Zoloft, and I'm like, oh God, I was like, and then when they put me on medication, I said, am I crazy? Yeah,
You're not
what am I
crazy. But what I explained about medication is it is good, but it's a piece, it can be a piece of the puzzle. It's not going to be the all in all. Because with medicine, there's still an action required. It only works if you take it every day. So the
right,
medicine is
right,
good, but you have to build your other coping skills as well. You have to have some other things to do along with taking your medicine, learning how to relax, recognizing things in your body, doing things that are safe and healthy. Yeah. Listening to music,
right,
journaling, reading, exercising. I'll tell you about exercise. Exercise, that's one of the best things you can do. Any kind of
right.
physical activity helps. It
Okay,
definitely helps.
okay.
Mhm.
And I know, and I'm glad you said that, because when I was exercising regularly,
It
it
makes a
seemed like
difference.
I felt so much better. So I
You
think that's
do.
something else. I
Yep.
need to get back into exercise, because I was walking every day, eating
Energy
clean.
increases and your mood should get better as
Yeah,
well.
it
Mhm.
really does. And
Mhm.
I put on the screen Vicky's personal email address. So if you want to reach out to her, that is her personal email address. So reach out to her if you feel led to reach out to her, in regards to, because like I said, she's a safe space. If you feel like reaching out to her and talking to her about something, just email her. She'll love to talk to you. But Vicky, thank you once
Thank
again
you, Tori.
for
Thank you.
coming on and answering the call to talk about this. And like I said, next month, of course, June is mental health awareness for men.
Yes.
So I'll see if I can also have a male counselor come on as well for the men, because That's a topic that men, like I said, they don't like talking about. Like, nothing's wrong with me. I'm all right. I'm good. And like you said, Vicky, they don't even want to go to the doctor. So you really think they're gonna go to a therapist? Absolutely
It can
not.
be hard. It can be hard. Very hard.
Absolutely not. But I thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the remainder of your Sunday. And like I always say at the end of each podcast, whatever you're going through in this thing called life, you may bend, but don't you dare break. You guys have an amazing remainder of your Sunday. If you missed the beginning, make sure you go back and watch the replay. We're out. You guys take care and be blessed. Happy Sunday. Enjoy the remainder. Listen, I'm saying happy Sunday, but enjoy the remainder of it, because you know what? In the blink of an eye, it's about to be Monday.
It is. Glad it's a day off.
Oh, that is right. It's the holiday. Oh, you know what? Before we close, since it is the holiday, I want to show love to those that those that have protected our country and have transitioned. We salute them. And also, you know how a lot of us do, we like to cook out. So I'm gonna just put it out there. If somebody cooking out, holler at a sister, because I wouldn't mind. I'm trying to transition over to vegan, but I'm not there yet. So if someone cooks out and you do a burnt hot dog, just holler at me, okay? And with that being said, you guys have a great Sunday. Enjoy the remainder of your Sunday and enjoy your time off. Whatever you choose to do, make sure you be safe. All right. Take care. Be blessed. All right. Bye.